community developed by Erufai when Abuja was starting. When I got there, it had now been taken over by kidnappers. Look at people sleeping under the bridges of Lagos. And someone is collecting 250,000 from there every year. 50 years of Federal Housing Authority. The organization has not succeeded in producing 5,000 houses.
Housing TV Africa, your first in housing development broadcasting.
I'm Festus Adebayo. I'm the Executive Director of Housing Development Advocacy Network. Housing Development Advocacy Network is a pioneer civil society, non-governmental organization that have been promoting housing development and home ownership in Nigeria in the last 20 years. We have been doing all our efforts to reorientate government attitude toward provision of affordable housing for Nigerians. We have, in the course of that, been embarking on various awareness campaigns through social media, television, newspaper. Our responsibility is to keep reminding the government on the need to use housing to create employment, to use housing to increase productivity, and in fact, in the recent time, to use housing to increase the food supply. Estate developers, proliferation. I have a problem with that. But when you say estate development, proliferation, I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the one I mentioned to you because in the recent time, due to lack of regulation, the business of real estate development has now been taken over by criminals, quack, fake people who don't even have office of their own. They go around with flyers, putting it on social media, some on billboard, because there's nobody regulating it. Forgetting, you cannot put any billboard of any drug product without the approval of NAFDAC. So, proliferation of estate developers is not helping our system. Instead, it's making our people to be duped, both those in Nigeria and those outside the country. I can inform you that I get reports on a daily basis of people reporting that they paid 35 million for a particular land somewhere. 4 years after that, they've not even seen the land. And in fact, some people came that even after paying the money, they could not locate the developer again. So, proliferation of estate developers wouldn't have been a crime if there's regulation, if there's certification. We need somebody to certify them. We need somebody to give them numbers so that when there's a crime or when there's a complaint, we know the way who to follow up. We have many professional bodies in Nigeria, Society of Engineers, Nigerian Institution of Officers of Surveyors and Valuers. And when any of their members commit a crime, you trace them, track them through their certification, through their numbers, through the national body. So, proliferation of estate developers supposed to be to help us to increase the housing stock, but instead, it's now becoming a problem that is depriving people of their hard-earned resources. The private developer is in the business of making money. It's in the business of making profits. And on that note, there must be government might to get them to play the game according to the rule. But what is leading to unplanned settlement is number one, when people are disobedient to the rules of the game. Just last week, we read in the newspaper the confession by the Lagos State Commissioner for Physical Planning that 80% of the houses along Lekki houses do not have building approval. That is what we are talking about. Even when the government said, I have a master plan, this is what should be here. This is what should be here. The man who is looking for money, take over that land. Build duplexes there. So we keep asking some is a particular very important question. Some of those people are not building those houses without the knowledge of anybody in that ministry. We keep asking questions. You demolish an estate along the airport road. You allow the estate, the building to have been completed. Where were you when they were doing foundation? Where were you when they were getting to the lintel? Don't you know it will lead to economic waste and the waste of the natural, even national resources? Because majority of these estate developers are not even using their money. They are using either bank loan, mortgage loan, estate development loan, and therefore loans by money from off-takers. When you buy into my property, I create my own instrumental payment for you. At the foundation, you pay 30%. At the window level, you pay 40%. At the level of completion, you pay 30%. Then I give you the key. So when you fold your arms, and you allow them to do foundation, to start building the estate, and then complete it, and now you are bringing your bulldozer, you must also say you are involved. If you are the director is not involved, somebody is involved in your office, telling them they should go ahead. There was a building that was an estate that was demolished in Abuja during the era of Pala Mohammed along Airport Road. As a civil society leader, I engaged the minister. And the minister told me that the developer is a land grabber. Then I also engaged the development control. The development control said, these people have never come to us for any building approval. And then we went to the developer who told us that he had been relating with the resident officer of the development control. What does that mean? For every areas, the development control have their staff whose responsibility is to raise an alarm, to mark building. But what this officer was doing was that he was marking with red. Snap it. Whenever the man give him money, go there again. Tell them to erase it. You're going to say, so that is one of the issue of a planned city. That the government go there to demolish. When it's meant for building a commercial area, you went there and built residential. The development control have the right to. But what we are not saying is the professionals who are tasked with this responsibility, let me use this time to call on them. By not doing your services very well, you are not helping our country. By putting that little money you are going to collect in your pockets as a priority, you are not helping this country. So we are calling on you as a civil society. Let us make a greater Nigeria by doing our job the way it should be. Still talking about flooding. You know what happened in Abuja about is it last year or 2 years ago? How long Lugbe assist? Do let me mention the estate so that I don't kill the brand more. You know what would happen? We went there and we saw what happened. All the places that they call waterways, in the name of making money, people occupy it with three bedroom. 3 bedroom, 2 bedroom. And water we always find its way. That is it. It will find its way. When it's coming, it go like this, it claps on places. That's nothing about it. So if there's any carefulness we must have when building nowadays, it should be about the issue of flooding. Because the climate change effect is everywhere. Look at what's happening in Kenya. When I visited that Lugbe's flood zone, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency told us that few days to the time, they announced that there's going to be heavy rain, and therefore they should pave way for water to go. Look at Lugbe now. When you go to that area, you see everywhere is occupied. So you ask yourself, what are you doing, FCDA, when these people are building on the waterways? The FCDA come and tell you they are land grabbers. We are saying, how many of these land grabbers have we jailed? You know what I'm saying? All that we have been doing is to wait till when the building will be completed because somebody is feeding on that. That is another aspect of the unplanned city. The last aspect of the unplanned city is the one that has to do with the ordinary citizen. That worker who have been working for 25 years, who could not afford the prices of the houses you people are talking about, and decided to go to a local area, outskirts of the city, to live. And then what you experience in the outskirts of the city is overcrowding. What you see there is increase in the number of crime. Remember sometimes ago somebody told me who lives in Pape, one of the outskirts of Abuja, that's supposed to be properly developed and bring near the Maitama area. Said he was cooking. After he cooked the rice finish, he went to put this stew on fire. By the way, the house does not have a kitchen. So he's cooking outside his house. As he entered to take his bath before he came back, the soup has disappeared. Meaning, the man who has rice, but does not have soup, have taken it over. These are part of what you see in ghetto areas like that, in slum areas like that. But we are saying, if we cannot increase the housing stock, where are the factors of increase in supply? We bring down the prices. Please, make those outskirts of the city livable. Provide them with little basic amenities, such as water, electricity, and roads. If you go to, remember the other time I went to Abuja at 30 estates, a community developed by Erufai when Abuja was 30. When I got there, it had now been taken over by kidnappers, criminals. The government that took over did not show interest, did not go there. So let me use this opportunity of my being on your program to call the Honorable Minister of FCT to please visit Abuja at 30 Estate in Kuje, helping us to provide a basic amenity in that area will make life better, will reduce the stress people are facing in the area of housing in the Federal Capital Territory. Finally, let me inform you, when you go along the axis of Lugbe, going toward the airport, there are many communities there, there are many villages there, slum. Some people have been living there for the past 3, 4, 5 years. We keep asking, does these houses, do they have approvals? The development control know about this building? Some of those houses have been built on other people's land. And whenever the people are ready, they push the FCDA, and FCDA go there and pull it down. So we are saying that if you know that area is not their home, can you please find a way to give them a place where they can live? They are Nigerians. And the Constitution of Nigeria says they have the right to housing. I was with Mr. President about 3 months ago at the launching of a Renew Hope for cities and estates and cities. Mr. President said Nigeria have the right to housing. The right to housing. So every Nigerian deserves to be housed. Every Nigerian deserves a home. CFO, in its full name, is Certificate of Occupancy. That document satisfies your ownership of that land that you want to build on. If you have that land, or you buy that land without asking for the title of that land, see it and even go further to confirm the authenticity, your money could be a big waste. Just as I've said, CFO satisfies your ownership. It makes you anywhere confirm that you are the owner of that property. And it has its backing in the Land Use Act. So if you still have RFO, you have still not gotten to the level of CFO. The person who issues the CFO in the states are the governors. That is why you see where the Federal Ministry of Housing need to build houses in all the states. They have to approach the governors to give them land and also give them title to it. With your CFO, your land now becomes something, a valuable document or property that you can use for transaction. You can't use a land that doesn't have CFO, a title, to run a mortgage loan. That's one of the challenges facing the mortgage sector in Nigeria. Majority of the land don't have what? Title, no CFO. I've seen some people using RFO to go and do, I don't know why they are doing that, and I don't know who's approving it. But what the law says is CFO. Because they use that land to confirm that you are the owner. And they can collect it from you to borrow you money. And that is the significance of that CFO. And don't go further. But I must say finally that that CFO does not also give you the absolute right. Anything could still happen in the future. But get it right. It satisfies your ownership. It identifies you are the owner of the house. You are Festus Adebayo. And that CFO has Festus Adebayo. It confirms you are the owner. It's also confirmed that you can use it for any transaction, to borrow money, to do any legal or mortgage transaction, monetary transaction. In commercial, in mortgage bank. But I said, there's a restriction to it that it does not. There are some time that the interest of the government or the governor can override. But the issue is this: if you have CFO, if they want to revoke your CFO, or you have a building approval and they want to revoke your building approval, you are entitled to some compensations. You have seen what is going on in Lagos. There are a lot of demolition taking place. So you cannot come and ask me to pay you when you don't have the proper title to that land. And that's why we are running awareness to Nigeria that do things properly. If after you have your paper title, because that title is required before you can get building approval. It's stage 1 to stage 2. The man that want to give you building approval must ask you to confirm, to show evidence that you are the owner. It's a stage by stage. You could have RFO. Like in Abuja, a lot of RFO are being used. And I'm also aware that development control is also accepting the RFO to process their building approval. Because they see RFO and they believe that the CFO is under processing. You get what I'm saying? The first one is certificate of occupancy. The RFO is right of occupancy. So you have to get it. So from that level, it goes to the final level. And the final level is C of O. Once you have C of O, you have your rest of mind. But I'm aware that some development control in some states of the federation are accepting RFO. But I must inform you, this issue of RFO is more common in the Federal Capital Territory. And in Federal Capital Territory, the person that signed the CFO is no other person than the Honorable Minister for the Federal Capital Territory. Before, the minister had been acting on behalf of the Mr. President. But now there are some changes coming up. While Vicky is still doing that job, they are trying to reposition the Federal Capital Territory to have some similarities with the states. I'm aware that they've had their own civil service, and I'm aware a lot of states are still coming up. They now have permanent secretaries. I will not be surprised tomorrow if you hear that they also appointed commissioners. And I'm aware that they are using the title secretaries now. You don't find it for that tomorrow. They change because secretaries to commissioners. So CFO is the key. It's confirmed that you are the owner. It satisfies you are the real owner of the house. It enables you with CFO to do all sorts of transactions. Somebody said recently the majority of the properties in Nigeria, 80% of properties in Nigeria, that they are debt capital. What does that mean? Debt capital in the sense that they don't have CFO. They don't have title. And once you don't have title, you cannot use for transaction. You can only be living there, you are the owner of your house. And that alone is affecting the transaction in the area of mortgage, just as I've told you. We have Nigeria housing policy. We have our own national housing policy, the 2002 one. And I can report to you here that we have answers to almost 85% of the problem we are talking about today. Then what is the issue? And I also remember that at various times, we have declared housing for all, housing for this, and for that. So we have a lot of. But what is wrong? To what extent are these policies taking us to the promised land? That remains question. Today, some of those policies are produced, our document, our housing policy document has produced National Housing Fund, Act. It has produced Land Use Act. It has a step to have the establishment of primary mortgage institutions. And recently, it helped us to also produce Nigerian Mortgage Refinance Company PLC that is responsible for financing mortgages. Let's start from NMRC. NMRC is facing challenges, the macroeconomic problems in the country. Where are the mortgage? But we won't fail NMRC to be refinancing. We borrowed that idea from US, from UK, and even I'm aware that Kenya here also have Kenya mortgage refinance. But to what extent can these organizations be achieved in Nigeria? You always come and criticize them. We don't look at the structure. We don't look at the system. National Housing Fund take 2.5% of the salaries of civil servant workers. We extended it also to private sector, the informal sector. But when you ask the majority of the workers, they tell you they don't even know how to access it. Some don't even understand what it is about. And I want to use this opportunity to inform you that on that note, we have been doing a lot of things in collaborating with Federal Mortgage Bank in enlightening workers on the ABC of how to access National Housing Fund. But I can inform you also that there has been so much problem with Federal Mortgage Bank until about 5 or 6 years ago, they brought one MD, Ahmed Dangiwa, who brought some changes, who also went to the National Assembly to seek for some amendments that this need to be done, this need to be done. If Federal Mortgage Bank is to deliver on its goal. Here we are today, we have a new MD who is also working very hard to see how. But Federal Mortgage Bank cannot provide houses for every Nigerians. There's no way. So Federal Mortgage Bank is saying need to be capitalized. Federal Mortgage is saying need to be empowered. Then some of the law that back the operation of Federal Mortgage Bank are obsolete. It's part of our housing policy document that get back to Federal Housing Authority. We recently did 50 years anniversary of Federal Housing Authority. The organization was established by General Gowon. The honorable minister that came made it known to the public that 50 years of Federal Housing Authority, the organization has not succeeded in producing 5,000 houses. So you go and ask FHA, why? What's wrong with you? 50 years, you have not been able to produce 5,000 houses. I want to tell you also that the FHA Act is obsolete. When they appointed Honorable Tunde Oyo, we told him through our release that first assignment you must do is to seek the blessing, the support of the National Assembly, because you are a former honorable members. You that your relationship to get that FAK Act amended. We are not expecting you to have any problem with the executive, that with Mr. President. If you do the right thing, so that Mr. President can sign whatever that is passed by the National Assembly, so that FHA can be liberated, and FHA can now begin to face the challenges. You cannot use the law of 50 years ago, 30 years, to come and solve the problem of the present day. So it cannot work. Recently, the federal government also came up with family home funds. Family home funds, the responsibility of that one is to provide social housing. We have to cater for the poor. Look at people sleeping under the bridges of Lagos. And someone is collecting 250,000 from them every year. That is a confirmation that there is huge housing deficit. That's a confirmation that something is wrong and that the government must wake up before it gets out of hand. No. People living under the bridges. Let me use this opportunity to draw the attention of the state governors to the housing predicament that is facing Nigeria. And then want to use the opportunity to call all state governors to put housing as a priority. We have succeeded in uncovering the situation in Lagos that a lot of people are living under the bridges. We have even found out that some people were carried from that under the bridge, and they drove them to where they came from. That is inappropriate. Nigeria have the right to live in anywhere. That is what the Constitution says. Nigeria have the right to own a house anywhere. That's what the Constitution says. So when you could not provide for them, and now you found that they were sleeping in the wrong place, that's self-help. They resorted to self-help when there was nobody to help them. They are human beings. They have to find their way. They couldn't find a house. They couldn't get money to get a house. And they decided to under the bridge. Who is the man collecting money under the bridge? I want to visit the bridge. I'm going to Lagos in the next 1 week, in the next 2 weeks. Those bridges where those people are sleeping, I want to visit it. I want to see how good the place is. So government must have political will. Yes, we have seen Renew Hope, Hope agenda of Mr. President. He promised us that they are going to do. There's going to be what they call it, a credit, consumer credit system. Let me use this opportunity to call Mr. President. Mr. President, sir, please, sir, we need more than just Renew Hope. Cities, we need a mortgage system to work. These people don't have the money to buy this, to do this cash and carry. They can't even pay for their rent. And that is why they have gone there. Your Excellency, please, we can use housing to address this inflation. We can use housing to address this unemployment. Mr. President, we can use housing to solve this problem of insecurity, sir. If I have access to a house, I'll be thinking of how to get married. But I will not be alone in the house. And when I get married, I have a child. Your Excellency, I will not go and join kidnappers, sir. Because that will be too risk for me. Because if I die, who will be taking care of my family, sir? Mr. President, sir, use housing to help us. Provide houses for those people there. That is what I'm talking about. Some of the PAMSEC directors, I don't know, let me remove the PAMSEC because they are awarding contracts. But people below director, 80% of them cannot pay for a house of 50 million. They can't afford it. And now we're complaining that they are stealing our money when they become director, when they become PAMSEC. By that time, they have 1 or 2 years to leave the job. You mean they should spend 30 years to work and then return back in a rented apartment? That is why they are stealing, sir. Let's address corruption by providing affordable housing. For the ordinary Nigerian who want to own a house, stage 1, check your balance. How much do you have? How much do you have? What is level of your income? Do you have a consistent income? How much comes to your account at all costs every month? The rule says you cannot spend more than 30% of your income on housing, either for rent or to pay your mortgage. So firstly, get your account, get to know that you have money. Before you do that, do you have a job? You can't be telling me you want to own a house when you don't have a job. Stage 2, how much is coming to your account every month? Can 30% of that money pay for a mortgage? Assuming you are giving a house of 30 million and they say you are going to pay for 10 years. Can you afford 30%? Considering your the school fee for the children, considering where you are living now, considering the responsibility from the family, considering your band hay, NEPA that you are enjoying, can you? When you have yes to this answer, then you cannot make an attempt to look for where can I get a house. On that note, you have to constantly ask yourself, which area do I want to own a house? Karu, Ojuelegba, Orile, Peter Odili Road. Where? When you now make up your mind as to where you want it, then you make a step to look for who are the developers around the houses that you can engage. Permit me to warn you. You need an expert advice. You need a professional advice before you make that choice. Because we started this discussion by talking about proliferation of estate developers. We went to the level of talking about fake developers. So it is not more a journey you can embark on without either a lawyer or a town planner or an estate surveyor who can guide you right. Something happened yesterday. Someone was talking to me, and unfortunately, the young lady does not even know who am I. He just told me there's a property to sell, that he want me to buy the property. And I said, that's good. And I asked, what are the papers you have for the land, for the property, completed building? The reply she gave to me is, how papers are available? And I said, I cannot understand you. How can you say all the papers are available? That is what you have. Is there any document like that? All papers are available. I think it was this morning before you came. Because I said I'm going to send somebody to her. To meet the owner of that, whoever has sent her to be doing marketing. That they need to train these young people before they go out. They must empower them. They must know the paper that are valuable on that property. So for the purpose of this discussion, you have the right to ask, what is the title on that paper, on that land? You can even ask for the survey plan to be sure that what he's talking about, that he want to build, I want to build 3-bedroom residential, to be sure that that area is meant for that. Then you ask for the paper. You take the paper away. As I've told you before, get an expert. If you don't want expert, you go to yourself to the geographical information, the land geographical information system, to confirm if that land exists in the name that is written on that document. You have to wait. You don't part away with your money. Just like that. It's after you have gotten positive response. You have seen the survey plan. You have confirmed the authenticity of the documents. You have now have to ask for, where is the building approval? To be sure that the building had the building approval from the development control of that state. This is key. Hearing that 80% of houses in Lekki area does not have building approval is challenging. It cannot failure of the government itself. It's also confirmed the gullibility of the people buy this property. We have said it before. You want to buy it, they're calling you, they're marketing to you. They say a property is 50 million. If you buy it in this Salah or in this Christmas period, you enjoy 5% discount. And then you have goat or cow or ram. You imagine this. You are using ram. That's not up to ₦1 million to sell a property to part away with your 50 million naira. And that's the gullibility of the Nigerian buyers. And that has been bothering us as a civil society. We have had many cases who bought land from some people are selling land, and we don't also want to mention their name because some of them were investigating. And then when we have the possession, so how come you parted without saying the land? That's another area. Apart from seeing the paper, you must see the land. Apart from seeing the land, you must be sure they have office. Some of them don't have office. They are briefcase. That is why we are having cases. 60-70% of cases in the FCT High Court, Lagos High Court, is land related. You know that somebody was calling for a special court to be trained to be handling real estate cases. It is not out of order, but we all need to go and do mass property education, mortgage education, buyers education on what they must observe, or what they must know, or what they must do. By the time they fulfill, you see first one, second one, and you are still inquisitive, they will avoid you because they will see that you are just, you get what I'm saying? They go to the other one. And that's how you will not fall victim. The ones that came to us, we asked them. Yes, they gave me cow, I remember. Another one said they gave, is that a woman, said they, from one of the ministries, said they gave her a bag of rice. Now we told them, sorry, we will not be able to be of help unless we can get that bag of rice back. Or we can see that cow, the exact cow, not the one you have eaten. And then that one you have eaten, they can come alive. So these are the situations. So when you look at the whole situation, you see the buyer side problem, you will discover now that the developer are only playing on the gullibility of the buyer. And when you now talk about developers, remember, somebody was telling me the majority of the government agencies, don't let me mention their name, they are lying. They are land. Some of those federal government agencies have land in different states. Some of their land have been taken over by land grabbers. So the issue of land grabber is a pronounced word. It's more rampant in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt. And that's a commercial city.
Housing TV Africa, your first in housing development broadcasting.